This is Walk Talk Football, the show where we talk about everything that's on your mind. We're out here in Chicago for the MLS All-Star Game against Real Madrid, and today we're going to walk and talk with Gaizka Mendieta. But before we get to that, I'm excited to announce that on Friday, Kick will officially be becoming part of the COPA90 family. The Kick name will be no more, but the spirit and attitude that we've been building and you guys have been building over the last 5 years will now live under the COPA90 banner. That means new looks, new shows, and so much more, but it also means continuing to give you guys the things that you've loved all along. Life is good, my friends, and we'll be sharing a lot more with you guys throughout the week. But for now, let's walk. So what does Valencia's side need to do to maintain consistency and reach the top 6 under Marcelino?
Well, I think obviously results are very important. For me also, I think they've already started with this new project with Marcelino and with the sporting director. So give them the time, give them the confidence, and hopefully, again, with the combination of the results, I'm sure Valencia, well, they got the players, the quality, they got the ability to sign, great players for the club, and hopefully, I mean, it's hard because things doesn't happen overnight, but in the next 2 or 3 seasons, hopefully Valencia will be back on top.
Where do you think they have a realistic chance to finish this year?
Well, it seems like La Liga is a very tight and very competitive tournament. If there are consistency enough throughout the season, they could why not be in Europe. I think it's a realistic option they could have. Obviously, always performing at the level that you expect for the players they have.
When you personally were playing for Valencia B, did you always know that you would move up to the first team, or was it a struggle at times? Was it difficult?
Well, when I signed for Valencia, I signed for the first team. Although I was only 17, I knew my chances on the first team was difficult because Valencia, was a big club. It was like ending up second, third, always playing in Europe. For a player like me, making my professional break, so I started to play in the B team. Obviously, my chances in the first team, whenever I had it, I knew they were important. I knew that I really have to have an impact and give the coach whatever he needed, and work hard to stay there. And it took me, well, that first season, I made my debut, and then I played, I think it was like 6-7 games with the first team. So, it's hard because obviously you want to be in the first team, but you have to understand that you're still young and you still have to prove that you are able to play for a team like Valencia.
You were once the 6th most expensive transfer in the world at the time. What are your thoughts on just how much money is being spent on transfer fees, on player signings, on salaries, on all kinds of things? What are your thoughts about that right now?
Well, I think it's the industry. I think how football is set up nowadays. Every era, every generation of, in this case, players. In my case, when I was there, this is the 6th. Zidane signed for, well, 10 million, 10,000 millions back in the day, pesetas. Yeah. But it's the business. Obviously, I think we are aware that that's a lot of money that it comes into the sport, but it happens in other sports like NBA, Formula 1, American football. So it's something that we have to get used to. That's hopefully will only be increasing over time. So whatever is now, like, I don't know, 100 million. In 5,
maybe 200 million.
Or maybe 200 million.
Do you think it goes up from that though? Do you think that changes the standard?
It will,
yeah.
Because it's life. Everything goes up. A flat, an apartment, a car that is worth today something 10 in 10 years. You think, wow, that was cheap, and now it looks so expensive.
Right.
So that hopefully will change.
So when you made the move to Italy, it was one of the biggest transfers of the time in terms of the fee. Did you feel when you made that transfer? Did you feel pressure on yourself? Did you feel like instead of just making the move because you proved yourself already, that now you have to go another level? Did you feel the transfer fee on your back?
I never did. If you really think things through, it could be a bit scary and a bit putting pressure on yourself. I know players struggle with that, but in my case, no, I always thought, I have to play. I always wanted to play well, whether if I cost, when I moved to Valencia, was like 100,000 euros. And I still had that pressure of myself, of having to play well. When I went to Italy, I knew people would judge me for what Lazio had paid to Valencia rather than actually for the performances, which is difficult. I think fans have to separate money from player or performances. It has nothing to do, because someone paid 100 million for Pogba. Pogba is an amazing player, but it's not Neymar.
Right.
Or Messi.
Do you think it's fair that people are once that price tag comes, that they have to live up to it? Because you don't choose how much you cost.
Well, exactly. Yeah. That's the point. That the players don't. I don't think in general we think much about, because I've cost so much. No, at the end of the day, you got a coach who's going to tell you what you have to do, how you have to do it, and what he's expecting from you, not the fans.
Right.
So fans have to understand, yeah, that the price tag is not making you be, or you have to be better or even better than actually you are.
What was the best performance you ever witnessed on a match day that you played in? Was somebody you played with or somebody you played against? What was the best single performance you ever saw?
Well, I remember, I remember, unfortunately I was on the other side. I remember Valencia, Barcelona at the Nou Camp, and a guy called Ronaldo, the Brazilian, Fenomeno. He was just outstanding. I mean, he was quick, he was strong, obviously technically skillful and amazing. And we had really, the back four was like really tough defenders in Spain. Two of them were in the national team. And the guy just made them,
just killed.
Yeah, just killed them, absolutely.
Do you think if he didn't have the injuries, he would have been the best player ever? He's my favorite player ever. And
I was gonna say,
no one wants to get into this conversation, but
no,
but
we went on an interview.
You know, for me, it was just magic. You know,
for me, it was. I think it still is one of the top.
Speed,
exactly, yeah. Top. I don't know, whatever you want to name it. Top 3, top 5. But it's for me, it's amongst the best players in football that I've luckily watched and unluckily suffered. But he was incredible.
I got to tell you, so going up to the 2002 World Cup, you had this secret commercial, right, that you did with Nike.
Yeah.
And it was all the biggest stars in the world, all of them. Roberto Carlos, my favorite player at the time. This was a big moment for fans in the US because that's when we went deep in the tournament and people started to come to life, you know. But that tournament was, you know, for me, I had an opportunity to play for 12 years professionally, and this was one of the big moments for me. When this commercial came out, it inspired me. So I have to say that you were a big part of that, being part of that big group of stars. It was an incredible, amazing commercial. Do you remember being part of it or shooting it?
I remember because back in that day I was in Italy, at Lazio, and I lived like 10 minutes from where we were shooting it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
And I remember walking in the massive unit.
Yeah.
You see all the boat because it was like in 2 different stages. One was the actual cage and another one was the actual boat.
Yeah.
It was just unbelievable.
Were all the players there at the same time then?
No, because they were filming like the different games.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you play the games, yes, both maybe sometimes 2 or 3 teams would be there, but not everyone at once.
What a commercial though.
That was probably I think that changed because we did another one before, the freestyle, but it was more like back in the day again. The freestyler sort of thing was still not a big thing like it is nowadays, but that was absolutely
for us in the US, you know,
everything.
we had to watch all of the games of the World Cup in the middle of the night and all these things. But when this commercial came out, it was like we were all inspired. I was like 17, 18 at the time, and I just remember going, wow, I want to be those guys. So good job, you guys put on a good show in that commercial.
For the Oscar,
yeah. What are your best memories at the Riverside? Or a best memory at the Riverside?
Yeah, definitely winning the cup. Because moving from Valencia, Lazio, Barca, and then kind of decided to turn around or to give a different approach to my career. And going there, I know a lot of people were like, you know, what's this guy doing? Right. And winning the Carling Cup with Middlesbrough after first title for the club in back in 120 or 30 years. It was very important to prove people in a way, and it was ambitious, but you never know how things are going to work out. And you know, it was very well because we won the Carling Cup, then we played the final, the Europa League. So I think that moment was very important in my career.
Who's the best striker you ever played with?
I think I'd say Romario. He came from Barca to Valencia, and he was just a player coming out of the cartoons. You know, like Oliver Ivanchi, that sort of thing. It was unbelievable. The guy, I don't think he suited our team because we were more physical, obviously Barca, more passing football, but we had Valdano as a coach, and he brought it to the team. But training, it was just, he would do things that you were like, where's the guy coming from? So great. Yeah, it has to be him.
Do you ever think about coaching?
Well, I've done my A and B UEFA license. I want to do my pro next year, but at the moment it's only about having the experience and learning. I like to try sometime, but at the moment with everything I'm doing, I'm really enjoying it, But in the future, yeah, I like to give it a go.
That's an interesting perspective because it seems like a lot of players think that they can just jump straight into coaching because they were good players or top players, but it's good that you have that mentality that you have to learn. It's a whole new world, right?
Exactly.
So let's talk about Spain for a minute, the national team. Who do you think is the best Spanish talent at the moment? Or maybe midfielder, just taking your position. Who do you think is
Well, for me, I used to love Guardiola. I remember watching him at Barca when he started with 16-year-old.
Yeah.
The guy looked like he was playing for forever in that team. And he was, you know, controlling the midfield, the tempo, with guys like Ronaldo, Ronaldo, all these guys. And it was, for me, it was unbelievable as a midfielder how to make things look so easy with 1-2 touches. Obviously, then Xavi, Iniesta, these are the guys that, for me, you know, took the football to a different level.
And what do you think about Spain's chances at the World Cup next year? Do you think they have the group that can really, I guess, go deep in the tournament?
We do have it. Whether if it's good enough to reach that level that we reached with Xavi Alonso, etc., I think it might take a bit longer. I think the individual talent, we've always had it in Spain because the way we keep bringing players through the club system, the federation system, we have the individual players, but to find actually a group that is bonded in the way these guys were, it's difficult because they play together since they were like 16-year-old. But we're working on it. We're working in a team that hopefully will bring trophies again.
So, Mr. Mendieta, thank you so much for the
Thank
time.
you.
I appreciate it. Guys, Valencia legend here. Comment, like, and subscribe and get in on the conversation.